All right. Good evening, everyone. We are going to make chicken teriyaki tonight. I'm going to use the cutter, and the recipe itself uses max heat. So I have saved it under my week. It's thinking, there's our chicken teriyaki. So there's always a picture at the start of every recipe and a picture at the end of every recipe. Now, if the recipe says it's been updated, that doesn't necessarily mean that they've changed the entire recipe. It could be that they've updated a step, that they've fixed a spelling mistake, anything like that, or they've added pictures or video to the recipe itself. Now, when you look at the recipe, you can scroll down, you can see the preparation steps, you can see the ingredients, you can see hints and tips, utensils, and nutritional values as well. So if you can see here that I've highlighted a step, if you actually had a really long recipe and just wanted to make part of the recipe, you could click on the step that you want to go to and it will jump straight there. You don't need to go next through the recipe, which is super handy. All right, start cooking. Actually, what we're going to do, we are going to go back because I am going to use the cutter to cut some of my vegetables for my chicken teriyaki. So I am going to put the shaft into the bowl. Then I'm going to put the base in. So this actually keeps our Thermomix bowl clean and tidy. Then we've got our two sides of our cutter. This one has, if you can see it there, thick slice and thin slice. And on the other side, we have thin shred and thick shred. Cook it that way, maybe. And so it is grade for grate. Sorry, grate, not shred, and slate for slice. So I'm going to put our slate side up because I would like to slice. I'm going to pop this on. This can go either way, that way or that way. And then I am going to slice my shallots. I'm going to do, with my mode slicing, I'm actually going to do thick slice because thin slice is like super thin for an onion. I am going to turn it to thick. There we go. Pretty quick. And then is our thick sliced shallot. So I'm just going to put that aside because that needs to cook first. And then I'll do my other veggies and then leave them in the pot. Okay, so I'm going to slice as well. I'm going to slice my capsicum. So the 39-page digital cookbook that they send you when you get a cutter shows you to put your capsicum together. So then it will actually go in and not twist over and cut in an awkward way. So I'm going to go thick again. There we go. And I'll show you that. So there is our thick cut capsicum. There we go. So that will be ready. And then I'm just going to slice my carrot. It says cut it into match sticks. I might do thick grate, and I've done my snow peas. I've just cut them into slices. Pop that back on. And then all the food that you collect in the top, you can use later for your veggie stock as well, so nothing goes to waste. Or if you've got a dog at home, you can also use your veggies for that. Okay, so I have put our grate upwards. So I'm going to change to grating, and I'm going to do thick again. Oh, there it is. Story of my life. All right, pop that on, turn it to thick. And then I'll show you, and we'll leave those in there until I need them. There we go. Big great carrot, ready to go. All right, put that to the side. Okay, back to our recipe. Go to my week. Chicken teriyaki. Start cooking. Okay, 10 grams of olive oil. So with our liquids, we always pour full tilt until we get 5 grams before. Of course, 10 grams of oil. Oh, 15, close enough. But then I didn't forget the sharps, almost. And then next, so 250 grams of our skinless, boneless chicken thighs. I'm actually going to do breast tonight. So I actually wouldn't, I normally say to people to put in the butterfly if you're cooking with chicken breast instead of chicken thigh. But because we're using the max heat, it's just going to stir a little and then heat up. So I don't think I'm going to need to. Of course, I'll let it make me a liar. Oh, 250 grams on the knocker. Perfect. All right, so we are going to place our splash guard on top. So the splash guard is made specifically for our max heat function. When we have that oil going to our max heat, which is 160 degrees, which is you're only able to access inside a recipe. So done. Okay, so it's 5 minutes. And then the squiggly lines, because we've got a picture instead of speeds on our end circle, then that means we're actually using a mode. When you use a mode, you only need to turn it 1 click and away it goes. So then, let's bring it a little bit closer. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch it, because once the bowl itself gets to 37 degrees, it will show up as a green, starting our green line. Once the bowl itself gets over 60 degrees, the line itself will actually turn red. I am going to turn off the sound thing, the noise suppression, and see if you can hear. It's heating up, so it's above 35, 37, that's right. And it's just about to turn red because it's going to go over 60. Boom, there it goes. And then it keeps going round. And don't forget, our max temperature is 160. So when you actually select a temperature, when you're using it manually, you can only select up to 120 degrees or Varoma, which is our rolling boil for our steaming. So away it goes. Has everyone got any questions so far? Not done much yet. Just cooking. Just cooking.
Can you just say about the Varoma?
Yes. So Varoma temperature is required for when you put the Varoma on top and you're going to steam something. So you put 500 grams of water in the bottom, in the bowl itself.
Yep.
If you're doing under half an hour's worth of steaming, if you're going to do any more, you actually go up. Now, when you get a TM6, there's actually a whole section in the back that has steaming, how long, what the weight, and whether you steam actually in the basket in the bowl or in the varoma itself.
Okay.
The other thing with the varoma is to ensure that you space your food around so that the steam can actually go around the food. You don't want to block the hole in the bottom. Nothing is getting cooked if there's no space for the steam to come through and actually go around all your food. I know there's a bigger word for that. Sorry?
How come the recipes when I'm making, I think it's a soup, says to put it on the varoma on my TM31?
Yes, because that's a higher heat.
Right.
And sometimes you will use the varoma temperature without the varoma.
Yeah, so that's my question.
However,
Yes.
you can't use it the other way. You can't use the varoma without using the varoma heat.
Okay. So at what time do you usually use the varoma? When you heat, when you're not using the varoma on top to steam?
On top. So sometimes it wants that extra power of the heat.
Yeah.
To heat it, but you'll notice that it's not for long portions of time.
Yeah.
With your 31 or your 5 or even your 6. Yeah. It's a shorter amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's normally 114 for the rolling boil, but the Thermix itself senses what it needs.
Right. So if I'm steaming in the varoma, I should be using the varoma heat setting. Is that right?
Correct. You're not going to get enough of a rolling boil with your liquid in the bottom to effectively steam in the varoma itself.
All right.
I mean, this seems like enough heat here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can see the steam, but it's not enough of a rolling boil to get that steam up through the holes in the varoma and around the varoma. Yeah. So it's important. Like you can't just sort of cook something on 100 for dinner and think that you can pop your veg on top and that it will effectively steam at 100 degrees.
Because I wondered what the varoma heat setting was in the recipe, because quite often, I don't know if it's using the varoma to like saute, and then I know if the soups is going to like 100.
It might possibly be for the TM31, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So next, using the tongs, put our chicken in a thermal bowl, which of course is our thermo server. This is one of our host rewards that you can choose when you have a cooking experience. And if you just have a cooking experience with 2 people, 2 dishes, you can access the host rewards for a discount. However, if somebody does purchase from your cooking experience, you can access any of the host rewards for free. So let's get our tongs out. Okay, retaining the cooking juices in the mixing bowl and cover to keep warm. So there's my chicken. That looks pretty cooked. So I'm going to pop that. And you can see there's a little bit of browning on the bottom of the bowl. That's because we are sauteing things now. You will get browning on the bottom of a 31 or a 5, but you'll get more of it with the 6 because of the higher heat. Normally by the end of the recipe, the browning is gone. But if it's not, a bit of bicarb soda, a little bit of water making it into a paste. Leave it 10 minutes and then use a scrubby, which is one of those. We'll usually get it off really quickly. All right, cover to keep warm. Okay, scrape the base of the mixing bowl with the spatula. So let me tilt and show you just a little bit of browning there. So we want to get that off the bottom and into our meal because that's flavor, good flavor. So we've loosened our caramelization. Next, our 30 grams of echallots. So I'm just going to spread that around so it gets a good coating and everything gets heated. Oh, 31 grams. I'm doing well tonight. 100 grams of our capsicum. It's actually got a little bit of carrot in it, but that's all right, because I've mixed them up. Let's see if the carrot's next. Yep, carrots. Let's just toss all that in. $30 grams of snow peas. So I'll just slice them like that. So the other really great thing about this recipe is the color. So much color. All right, 120 grams of broccoli, 112, close enough. 20 grams of olive oil. So as I was saying before, pour full tilt. I'm going to pull up at 15, 19, close enough, 20. All right. Okay, then we want to place our splash guard back on again. Done. And you'll see when the actual blades, before the blades start, it will actually lock it in. So same thing, I'm just going to turn that one notch, and this is actually locked on to our lid. So it's only cooking for another 5 minutes. And then something else that you can do with the 6 is you can actually preview. So I'm just going to wash my hands there. So you can preview the next steps and see what's going on. So transfer into the thermal bowl with the chicken, cover to keep warm. Then we scrape the base again. Don't clean the mixing bowl. We always love those. And then we put our ginger, our garlic, and then we chop, and then we keep going. So I've scrolled through to the 19th step out of 28, and where I'm actually at is step 12. So I'm going to press the little button that says 12, and I've gone back to where I started. So let me just share my screen and show you just a little bit of our Cookidoo. So there's the recipe that we're doing today. I'm going to hit explore, and I'm actually going to hit search and type in high heat. High heat. And there we go, 326 results found. You can just saute the chicken cubes or the onion, caramelize your onions for your, so I highly recommend in Recipe Community, French onion dip kiwi style, and then bring it over to Cookidoo. I'll show you that in 1 second, but there's a whole stack of other things. You can saute your prawns, your onions, so you can do all this sort of stuff. It's within a recipe, but it can be on its own. So you can jump in and out of other recipes if you want to actually brown your meat for the recipe that you're looking at. I am going to look at my recipes. Did I bring across? No, I brought across fig paste. Let me just add then. Let me add Recipe Community. Okay, can you see that? Onion dip. So French onion dip, kiwi style. This is the one. Then, so Recipe Community is the only website you can bring recipes over from. You cannot just bring something over from Taste or Skinny Mixes or any of those due to copyright. But within the recipe community, because it's Thermix in Australia's own website, we can click Add to Cookidoo. We can confirm. Oh, problem has occurred. Of course it has. Confirm. Okay, so I brought over the fig paste. Let's just have a look at that. So I've imported that from the recipe community. Now what I would do from here is I would actually change all the preparation steps. I've just clicked edit, place fig pieces into the bowl. So I would go here and then hit enter. Measure in the water, enter. Now, the water, what I'm going to do here is click on it and do ingredients. And I'm going to click on water. And then I'm going to delete that. Now, when I actually look at it on my Thermomix itself, I can actually then bring up the scales for my 250 grams of water. Then I would return set timer to 7 minutes, 100 speed 1. So what I can do is set cooking settings. I can set it for 7 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 1. And you can also choose reverse further down. I'll just move that if I need it, but I don't need it. So I'm going to click OK. So that's how you then separate all your steps. I will come back to that. All right. Was that clear as mud? All right. Transfer into the thermal bowl. So I'm going to show you how good that looks. Such good color. There we go. I'll pop our lid on to keep it warm. Let me just show you. Tilt that. It's looking good.
Looks nice, doesn't it? Yum.
Yeah, I love recipes with lots of color. All right, so scrape the base of the mixing bowl to get rid of the caramelization. Well, there's actually none there. I'll scrape it anyway. Not much of anything there because the veggies have soaked all the caramelization up. Pop it down. Okay, do not clean mixing bowl. We love those. 10 grams of ginger peeled. 13, 12, close enough. 10 grams of garlic cloves. Well, 10, 20-ish. What? Only 8. That's all right. And I've dropped one in there. That's okay. Insert measuring cup into mixing bowl lid. So pop that on. Put our MC back on, our measuring cup. So 8 seconds, turn speed selected to speed 7. It actually shows me where speed 7 is and won't let me go past it once I dial it around. Now, because it's over 75 degrees, it's actually going to take a couple of seconds to wind up. There we go. Because that's actually another safety feature in the TM6. So scrape down with a spatula. It still cut it beautifully. So when I, obviously I'd normally do it with the bowl in, but today I'm just going to show you, I actually scrape around and scrape to the front, because I actually believe that you get more bang for your buck. I always scrape around the top and then whack it on the inside. Old wives' tale, but I'm not going to mess with that. 70 grams of tamari. So I just brought that one. There's lots of different tamari out there. And you can definitely get gluten-free tamari. Oh, 60. I've been moving.
What is it, Lisa? It's a soy sauce type thing?
Yes. Yeah. It's brewed soy sauce. Yeah. But you can definitely get gluten-free versions of it, even in Coles and Woolies, I think, as well.
Okay, I have to have a look.
Yes. 30 grams of honey. Use our squeezy job. So when you're making honeycomb, just a handy hint for young players, when you're making your honeycomb in your TM6, don't use your friend's amazingly beautiful honey, because it will actually, because it's so pure, it will burn quicker. So always use your Joe Blogs, Woolies or Coles honey for that. So 2 teaspoons of gluten-free corn flour. So the gluten-free one is actually not the nurse's one that we have always purchased growing up. It's actually the White Wings one or the Coles or Woolies home brand. If you actually have a look at the packet, the nurse's one is actually not made of corn. It's actually wheat, which is quite strange. Okay, 2 teaspoons of water. 1, 2. Okay, place the simmering basket on top instead. Happen to have one right here. Next, so 3 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 3.5. So when you're following a recipe, if you are a confident TM31 cook or a confident TM5 or TM6 cook, you can actually change the time once it's going and change the speed once it's going. Or you can go backwards or forwards. Go backwards if you don't think it's chopped enough. Go forwards and skip a step if you don't have that ingredient, that sort of thing. So even though you're following a recipe, you're still in control. You can also take your recipes from Cookidoo. If you've got a great recipe that you love from Cookidoo, you can actually move it from the main Cookidoo to your created recipes and then change it. So there's a fettuccine recipe in Cookidoo that I've been making since I bought my TM31 in 2013. Beautiful recipe, but obviously over 9-10 years I have meddled with it, and I use light Philadelphia cream instead of the normal cream that I asked for, and I actually use bacon instead of salami that I asked for, and I chop my tomatoes. So what I've actually done, I will share screen and show you what I have done. So creamy tomato and salami fettuccine, I've actually brought that over. You can, when you click on add in the normal recipes, you can actually choose to add it to created recipes. So then if you have a look down, I have actually put light Philadelphia cream and bacon into my ingredients, and then into my steps as well. Except I haven't done where I've actually chopped the Roma tomatoes yet, but I'll go back and fix that up at some point. So you can see that other things that you can do with your TM6. There we go. Any questions so far?
No, all
Nope.
good.
Cool. Alrighty. So I have actually there we go. 20 seconds. So it actually says 20 minutes from go to woe, so long as you've chopped all the stuff. So I took a couple of extra minutes just to chop my ingredients in the cutter, but lots of fun. So pour the sauce over the reserved chicken and vegetables, then stir to combine. So I will tip that way. And with the lid, I just go around with my spatula like that. And pretty much get everything off the lid because we don't want to waste any of our yummy ingredients. And then also it just makes it easier and quicker to clean as well. Oops. So there's my sauce. I'm actually going to hold it like that and scrape around. Then what I'm actually going to do is, because I actually like my sauce mixed in as I go, I'm going to conserve it and do that after. I'm just going to leave it on my Thermomix, staying warm while I do that. But you get the idea, and I will take a picture when I plate it up and drizzle it on. So then also it says to put on next, sprinkle with sesame seeds and coriander. So I've actually got my coriander, and there we go, and my sesame seeds. So I actually buy toasted sesame seeds, black and white, and I actually put them both on when I'm making things. This is actually my second container of black toasted sesame seeds, so you can tell which one I use more. But yeah, I highly recommend that. They're really it just adds something rather than just plain sesame seeds. Okay, any questions?
No, it looks nice though. I'll have to give it a go.
Yes, definitely. It is so quick. And you know, I'm all done and ready to go when Miss 16 arrives home. I'm actually just going to go back with my second bowl and do another set of veggies because she's a vegetarian, and then just use the same sauce. And then I'm also thinking about making, I haven't got the ingredients out yet, so we always finish our recipes. I wanted to try out this apple pie smoothie. It really caught my eye as something I might do, but I might actually do that tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
instead.
I saved that here, but I haven't given it a go yet.
Oh, have you? Yeah. Awesome. I'm just going to stop recording.